everybody. Welcome back. It's CLX Foundry Live after an extendedly long weekend. Thanks to our trip down to Dallas, Texas for DreamHack. We've got some of that. More about that later on in the show. We'll talk about what's going to be coming up. But first, guess what there is? The number 34 keeps coming up in the news. And why? Because there's 34 hours left in our giveaway. Dun, dun, dun. And that is for this amazing PC. Check it out. In partnership with AORUS and a bunch of the rest of the people. What's going to, there we go. You're going to get a chance to win this PC plus a Beacon mic and a Beacon mix crate in partnership with AData, Beacon, Intel, and Gigabyte, along with our friends at XPG. Look at this thing. It's wicked. It's sick. And you'll be able to do that by tapping exclamation giveaway. If you want to type that right now, you can find a link that'll take you right on over to where the giveaway is happening, and you can find all of your entries there. Now, a lot of you have heard about this thing called a code. It is COD if you take away the E. Now, the codes are something you can get on all sorts of places on Tuesdays, like today. You can find them on our green side, which is Kick. On Thursdays, although not this Thursday because we'll be announcing our winner on Thursday. It's over on the Twitch side. You can also find them on our social medias. That is YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at CLX Gaming. You may also find things or be able to pick up things over in the Discord. That's discord.gg/CLX Gaming. And of course, you can find on my stream my last two codes will be given out today. And one of those is thanks to Zach. The other thank you to Ivory. But first, and I didn't ask the question, ironically. I'm usually really good about this. We're doing a project for somebody. Who is this project for, Paul?
This is for Tim in Boulder, Colorado.
Tim in Boulder, which is right down the road from Large Stone, Colorado.
Mm-hmm. One would
what
say
are we putting in this
a
beast?
stone's throw.
Yeah.
Yes, it just rolls right into the boulder. Okay. It's going to be one of those days, people. Your turn, Paul. Go for it.
Man.
What's going in this beast?
All right, so going inside of this, Tim has custom configured a RAW off our website. So starting out with our processor, we've got the Intel Core i7 14700KF. To cool that, we've got the Leon Lee Trinity 360 AIO RGB. This is similar to the Galahad, but a little bit different. We've done a couple of these on the show, but excited to get another one of these out. For our motherboard, we've got an ASRock Z690 Phantom Gaming 4. This is the DDR4 version. So for our memory, we have 2 sticks of G-Skill, 16 gigabyte DDR4 3600. This is the Trident Z Neo with RGB heat spreaders. You can see it down there at the front. For our storage drive, we've got a 1 terabyte MSI M450 M.2 NVMe drive. And for our video card, we've got an RTX 4070 from Gigabyte. For our case, we obviously have the NV7 in black, and for our case fans, we have 12 of the Game DS AOLUS M3s. These are the more subtle RGB that have a nice RGB ring around them. And for our power supply, we've got the Game DS Kratos M1 750 watt 80 plus bronze RGB.
Nice. I'm excited for this. This will be a lot of fun, especially if I turn the notifications on my phone off. That's called professionalism. I promise we do this often. Now, one thing to keep in mind, everybody, is that if we got Rick James in the house, let's go. I'm Rick James. All right. Sorry. Jacob Hutchinson over on the blue side. Sorry, I missed DreamHack, but I'll be there next year. You know, Jacob, I hope I get to be too. We've also got everybody down in our TikTok section. Hello, hello, hello. We're live on the red side. We've got Nike. Nike's over here with like, give me that giveaway, get it good. On the, I see Queso Goblin. I see Ivory, but he works here. 24 Toxic, love it. Actually, I love that name. You might want to play Rainbow Six Siege with me. Just kidding. Majin Sins, USMC Sergeant. Thank you for your service, sir. On the green side, we got Derek Winston and JX Yeti. What's going on? Damon Sin is over here as well. Now, if you hear something that you don't understand, or maybe that needs better clarification, or there's just a terminology that you feel like you want to know about, or you have a question about building a PC that you built, a PC that you're trying to build, let us know, because I'm not, but these two guys are experts. So I'm just, well, I'm still looking for my hair. So, with that being said, let's talk about this. This is an incredible case. This is our raw case. So you know the NV5s. We've been doing a lot of NV5s, but this is actually an NV7. So, Paul, what's the big difference between the NV5 and the NV7?
Yeah, so the biggest difference is going to be the size. So the NV7 is a very large chassis, like what we have here, quite a bit bigger than the NV5. Now, the overall aesthetic is very similar. We have the slanted bottom, same glass panels as well, but with the NV7, our power supply is going to go up top, and we're going to fit 12 case fans inside of this, which is a lot.
See, I didn't think I was actually going to send that. Wash Goes Techie asks, how do you exactly choose the winner? Well, that winner is chosen through the actual giveaway system, although it would be funnier if we did use a woodchuck. But yeah, no, it goes through that system, and I believe that is with... No. Whoever the platform is that we're using, and I should know this information. Ivory is shaking his head right now. Like,
Gleam,
how are you
I feel like
this?
Gleam,
there it is.
Yeah.
Gleam. Gleam will go through and automatically choose the winner, and then we will find out and know exactly where it is. So, yes. That's how it happens. Although, if anybody does have a woodchuck, I'd love to know if they're, if you can pet them if they're friendly. Now, with that being said, boys and girls, giveaway is mine. Dadzilla's in the chat. What up, dude? All right, first things first, let's talk about this giant metal, well, I was going to just go with the thing in your hand first. This is called an IO shield. Now, oftentimes we have motherboards that already have one built in with a whole lot of heat shielding things, but sometimes they come like this. So, Zach, explain what you're holding and how to prepare it before putting it, just throwing it in the case like I used to.
Step 1, put on some pretty thick welding gloves. And then step 2, we want to bend any tabs back. This has a tab on our HDMI port and our LAN port. So we just want to bend those back flat so that when we go to install our motherboard, we don't accidentally get a little metal tab inserted into one of our ports.
Yes, absolutely correct. Hello, NC Big Country. I have friends who live in North Carolina. So we're going to pop that in there. Let's take a look real quick at what we have on the side of this board, because what's always important is connectivity. Now, at the very top, we have our PS2, which is a mouse keyboard legacy port. And that actually, there's a lot of people still have some really great legacy equipment. I know some keyboards that were very special, especially in the MMO community. So we got also our USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type 2s. Well, down below there is our HDMI, and then of course we've got our USB 2 ports below that. Then there's our USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2, and there's a Type C and a Type A. So that's a very special port. That means you can get 10 gigs up and 10 gigs down. We've also got our RJ45, which is our LAN port, plus 2 more of our 3.2 Gen 2s, and all 3 of the audio ports. There we go. Now, it doesn't come with... Wait. It does not come with Wi-Fi, but there are 3 Wi-Fi mounting points on this board. That's the one thing I was going to say.
Yes,
right.
It does have a Wi-Fi M.2 NVMe, so it can add just little small chip.
There we go. And of course, if you're using your LAN port, Wi-Fi is, not going to really need it. But I'll tell you what you do need is you need a processor, and this processor is wicked fast. It is an i7 14700KF by Intel. Paul, walk us through this processor.
Yes, this is a 20-core, 28-thread processor. It's broken down into 8 P cores, also known as performance cores that have hyper-threading on them, and then 12 efficiency cores, also known as E cores. Has a base speed of 3.4, and it will boost up to 5.6. So high-end processor, great for gaming and even other things as well.
Nice. Real quick, jump back over to the TikTok side. Hello. Brooklyn says, I'm going to be buying my PC from you guys soon. Awesome. Let us know. Maybe it's not a guarantee, but there's a chance. Who knows? If you put your order in the Discord, maybe we can see about putting it together in front of you live on the stream. Not sure why that voice was necessary. Edward Lee says, my next big PC is coming. Yes, let's go. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Now, I did see a question come in here from Drake Sub-Zero. Says, why not use, by the way, welcome, Drake. Why not use a SKU for future diagnosis over KF?
A K SKU.
I don't know what that means, but yeah.
Use a K
Walk us
SKU
through.
over a KF SKU.
Yeah, so I think they're referring to using a K over the KF. What that
Oh.
F means is no
Got it.
onboard video.
Got it.
So it's a good way to save some money in your budget. That's probably why the customer went this route to do that, because you save a few bucks and you don't miss out on any performance.
Now, and so I'll be honest, Drake. So I have a 13900 KF in my system. The only reason I went KF is because I wanted to reduce that heat variant as much as possible. Of course, now that I know what I know, yeah, I probably could have just been fine going with a K. Let's see here. Now you're going to be, Firecracker. I thought today was the giveaway. I'll be on a 10-hour road trip Thursday. Well, first of all, drive safely. Second of all, you'll have a 24-hour period if you're the winner. 24 hours to respond. Nicole's in the house. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. NC Big Country says, I bought one of these PCs 6 months ago. Ooh, how do you like it? Also, if you have one of our PCs, don't forget, we have a whole area in the Discord for you to show us your setup pics. We love seeing the different ways people utilize our PCs. Please feel free to do that. Once again, it's discord.gg/clxgaming. Now, up next, putting together the Galahad. Now, this is a Leon Lee liquid cooler. Now, this is an AIO. So, Paul, walk us through what that is for people who might not understand what an AIO is or does.
Yeah, so an AIO stands for all-in-one, and we're talking about the liquid cooler here. So that's what this is. You saw us take it out of the box. These come out of the box ready to go. There's already coolant inside of this. We don't need to add anything. There's typically a few different sets of hardware, so you just grab the one that matches your motherboard socket, and you're good to go. Zach's already got, the hardware that goes onto the motherboard in there. You can see it around the CPU. And then once he gets everything else in place, this will go on top, tighten it down with the screws, and you're done. These are really great performing and super easy to install as well.
Now, this is, as opposed to other ways of liquid cooling. Sorry, Firecracker just mentioned, he's like, well, I plan on listening Thursday. My wife may be pissed, though. Well, but what's the other way you can cool a PC?
Yes, you've got air cooling is another option that is a little bit more common. Not as common as using an AIO, but that's where you get the heat sink out of the box, and it's typically got a fan on it. There's some aftermarket ones that, if you don't want to go with the liquid cooler, that are good options as well. And then with liquid cooling, typically it's done in this AIO way, but we do offer open loop as well, and that's where we custom bend the tubes, and you can pick all different colors of fittings and coolant, and a lot more labor goes into those, but they look really nice.
Yeah, and this is an interesting one because this is a 360. Yes, okay. One of the biggest AIOs you've seen in a minute. I'm going to be honest. It's very tall. It's very tall on the board, but there's going to be plenty of opportunity there. Jumping next over to TikTok. We let's see here. I would mind like 2 years ago. What's up, Vandom? I know it's not Vandom. I just absolutely butchered your name, and I apologize. Up on the Facebook side, we've got Amber Rivers mentions how do you get the giveaway, and so Nicole definitely put that in there. It's once again clxgaming.com/giveaways. You can type !giveaway in the chat to find out more. And let's see here. Oh, I love what you guys do. Your passion is evident, and your comp builds are so amazing. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you. Listen, we love what we do. We love what we do. Now, Bottom mentioned that still going good, just need a new graphics card.
Nice.
So Paul, what's the best way to do that if you're wanting a CLX PC but you want to upgrade your graphics card?
Yeah, so if you already got one of our PCs and you're ready to upgrade the graphics card, if you already know what you want, you can get that. Just make sure it's the same slot. Most likely it's going to be a PCI by 16 and you've got enough room in your case, which I'm sure you do. But if you have any questions, you get lifetime tech support with us just by owning one of our PCs. So you can reach out to us on chat or give us a call. And even if you don't buy that card through us, our support team can still help you make the right decision and make sure that it's going to be compatible with your build.
And Edward Lee mentions up on the Facebook, got my PC 2 years ago. It was a beginner for 2000 and still going, but gonna grab a $7,000 gaming PC and become a big streamer. Well, I'll tell you what, keep your $2,000 and make that your streaming PC so you have a dual PC system. That way you've got one that's dedicated just to production, one that's dedicated just to gaming. Like that's my gaming PC. My streaming PC is down here. And then I have my old gaming PC sitting underneath here on hold in case something were to happen. Because yeah, I overthink pretty much everything constantly as a form of hope. There we go. Question about the website, says the Dirty Yankee over on the Kick side. When you look at the FPS of your build, is that tested at max game settings or default? Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, so it will depend on the game, but the biggest thing before looking at those settings, the biggest thing you want to look at is make sure you've got the right resolution set. If you're looking at that frame rate calculator, that's going to give you the best option there.
Also, it is important to note, or at least find out, what the game is optimized for. And I'll use Rainbow Six Siege. I love Siege. Rainbow Six Siege, one of my big games. I dig it. But when I was running it at 1440, I wasn't getting a lot of frames, and I went down to 1080, and I was actually getting almost less frames. And so somebody said, "Hey, did you know this game is optimized for 4K?" So I bumped it up to 4K, and on Ultra, it's pulling like 240 to 300 frames per second because the game is optimized to function its best in a 4K environment. So testing that out also is a good thing to know so that you understand the best settings that you'll want to put in there. Plus, it's also just kind of a general thing to do. Know your things. Now, speaking of knowing things, we've already got we didn't punch in our little stuff, did we? Or did I miss it?
Not yet. We are doing the fans right now.
So, Paul, on the Galahad, let's talk about that there's a really large cap on top of the pump. What kind of data is going to be shown on there, or is it just a mirror?
So this is just a mirror, but there's a big RGB cap around it. That's what you're seeing around it, and you can pop that off. It comes with a couple of different ones to match the aesthetic. We go with the black one because it just looks better in this build.
And Nike did have a good question. Let me go back up here. Nike said, do you have to change the liquid with those kinds of coolers? And actually, Drake is absolutely correct. No, you don't. They're vacuum sealed. Paul, about how long do you think one would last?
So I haven't had one like die on me. Typically, they're going to last longer than the rest of your hardware. So by the time you're ready to upgrade, you're already buying a new one. I've been using the same 360 AIO in like 3 different builds. It's the same one for probably like the past 7 or 8 years, and it's still running great. So, you know, like Drake said, I would say at least 10 years or more. Really, it's going to last longer than everything else in your PC. So
nice. I like it. All right, now we've got our fans locked in on there. And of course, for the fans that we're going to be using, we are jumping back into GameDius AORUS M3 ARGBs. Now, these are different than the M2s. Paul, how are they different?
Yeah, so these ones have a little bit more subtle RGB. So there's a little RGB ring inside of here. Once we get the system powered on, you'll be able to see it. So if you don't like the rainbow puke everywhere, this is a good fan to choose. That still gives you some color, and you can turn the RGB off if you want or set it to any color. So this is a good one to use for that.
Uncut Chain asks, do you guys have a certain games that you use to benchmark the PCs like Cyberpunk? Ooh.
Vanilla RuneScape.
There you go. OSRS. Yeah, as long as we're cruising on that, we know we're good. Now, we have a few different benchmarking softwares that we use when we are testing the PCs. So 3D Mark is a big one, but we'll also use FurMark, Prime 95 for the processor if needed. So we've got a few different ones that we use, but it's mostly 3D Mark.
Nice. Alrighty, now we're talking about a RAM. It's not something that you just use as a farm animal. It's also something you put in a PC. This is actually G-Skill. It's DDR4 3600. 2 different 16 gig sticks, one on the second, one on the fourth slot, for a total of 32 gigs. And yes, now that's the new hashtag that's going to be all over the place. Congratulations, Paul.
I didn't come up with it. Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna be very honest. I'm very happy that I'm rubbing off on you, and that you stop filtering things that come out of your mouth.
There we go. Yeah. The DJ effect.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of which, man, we're going through that's decorated. I don't think I've seen one that's decorated like that. So this is our M.2. Now, this is an operating system storage, and it's a 1 terabyte MSI Spatium 450 M.2 NVMe. Look at that. Normally, you guys know this more than I do. How often do we see them decorated like
With
that?
stickers?
Maybe half the time. Yeah, sometimes they'll have that on there. Typically, or a lot of times they get covered up by a heat shield. So, but on this one it won't, so you can see it. It's a nice look.
Kind of cool. Nike has a great question again. What does M.2 stand for?
So that's a good question. So M.2 stands for the form factor on the board, whereas NVMe is like the transfer protocol. So what we're talking about on M.2, we can go back to our overhead. Thank you. Our M.2 is this slot right here. So these don't exist, but let's say there's a different card, maybe a video card or memory. They could be an M.2 form factor and it would fit here. Now, like I said, those don't exist, but that's what M.2 is. It's fitting in this slot. Now, that's not to be confused with M.2 Wi-Fi that's right here. They look very similar, and you would think M.2 Wi-Fi, it's just an M.2 slot that can fit a Wi-Fi card, but it's actually keyed differently. So M.2 is a separate slot from M.2 Wi-Fi.
Got it. And honestly, I think that's the first time we've ever had that question in the 3 years we've been doing this.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yep. Also, speaking of which, I think we're coming up on our 3-year anniversary.
Wow.
I know, right? That's cool.
Sometimes you want to go.
Where everybody knows your pain. No, wait. I'll tell you what is not painful is what I've reposted over on the green side, and that is a code. It's CRBN as the prefix. This is worth 100 entries. CRBN-87YT. That is 87 YouTube. Carbon-87 YouTube. CRBN-87 Yankee Tango. For the military kids. Speaking of which, I'm so excited because I've got, right here in Portland, Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest, we have a thing called Rose Festival this week. And it's this massive festival because we have one of the world's largest rose gardens. And it is, so it's Tuesday. The ships start arriving, I believe, today and tomorrow. And so we have Fleet Week, basically. And I'm excited because one of the guys that I was in boot camp with is now managed to get with and has about 6 of the other guys that we were in boot camp with all on his ship. And they are excited because we get to see each other. I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen them since 95, 6, 5, right around there, 5 or 6. Yeah.
Just riveted them on.
Yeah.
Rip it good. Graphene label conducts heat. Oh, I see. Gleam Bytes mentions the deco or the decal is a heat diffuser material. Oh, gotcha. Because if you put it in a laptop where a bulky heat diffuser won't fit. Big brain smarts. Big brain smarts. I like it. I dig it. Okay, so now we're getting that all mounted down. One of the things you want to pay attention to when you're mounting your board to your case is what?
Standoffs.
As opposed to stand-ons? What is a standoff? For those who may not know.
Yeah, so a standoff is what the motherboard is actually sitting on. So where Zach's putting these mounting screws, those are going into our standoffs. And what those do is they separate the bottom of our board from the chassis. Since we don't want our motherboard touching bare metal and shorting things out, so that's what those are for.
Nice. All right, now we're getting that all down there. How do you know which holes in the board you want to use for your
so it's somewhat
for your mounting screws?
It's somewhat standardized. This is an ATX board and an ATX chassis, so they should be there, but some motherboards, manufacturers like this, have an extra hole that's right under the I/O shield. So if you're ever not sure, you can just lay your motherboard in the case and look through the mounting holes. Make sure you got a standoff in each one of those, and then when you pull the motherboard out, just make sure there isn't any extra anywhere.
There we go. Gosh, it's fun. And again, I do love the subtlety of the M3s. Just that black, because it's very, It's just subtle. Whereas mine gets so bright and blows out the camera. But I also love it because it's got this sparkling thing that it does, and I dig it. Yep. What up, Hashim? Hashim, how was your weekend, my friend? Good to see you.
Boy, Hashim, what up?
Says, what's up, Zach, Paul, and DJ?
What's going on? Hello.
This weekend's show, by the way. So I know that while we had our part of our squad down in Dallas at DreamHack, I was DJing at the club that I've officially been to as a resident for the weekend. For weekends, and it was absolutely nuts. They threw it at me and said, "Hey, by the way, would you be interested in doing disco tonight?" I said, "Heck yeah, I can throw some disco down. That's fine." And then I got to do whatever I wanted on Saturday, and it just exploded. We had to actually close off that section of the bar because we went way past the time that we normally are closing. Yeah, people were just going.
Nice.
Another boring ass weekend. How was DreamHack? I wasn't at DreamHack, but from what I understand, it was great. The largest attendance they've ever had at DreamHack Dallas. There was a huge presence from the streaming community there. Obviously, a lot of different esports games. I know also that in the process of all of this, that Halo was actually in London, and not there, which was definitely different. Drake Sub-Zero mentions, are you hiring for testing right now?
Potentially, if it's the right applicant, you can definitely put your application in as long as you're local. We do that all in-house, so you'd have to be in the Wichita area for that.
The Wichita province.
I did get a question up there earlier. You guys ready for some real hardcore storms?
Always.
Yeah.
We stay ready, so we don't got to get ready.
McGee!
We're strapped.
Yeah, by the way, well, I guess I didn't ask, but he'll tell me in my head because I don't think you guys can hear him. But how was Dallas's weather?
Stormy.
Yeah. But I will say this: Midwest storms, when they don't, create some catastrophically life-altering tornado. I love the lightning in the Midwest. It's fantastic to look at. Now, I will say what else is fantastic to look at is the fact that Find Nicole here felt left out of the conversation. Nicole, we love you. We appreciate you. And you know what Nicole did to get some attention? Drop the code. Let's go. This is Lucky LCKY. I have no idea how many of this is worth, but that's your prefix, LCKY. And it is RTNC, Romeo, Tango, Nevada, Charlie. Right, do you think it's just a 1? It's a +1? Yes! Way to troll the crew! Yeah, it's been interesting watching from the Pacific Northwest. We're in the middle of an atmospheric river right now, but yeah, and of course, wishing everybody in Tornado Alley the best and hoping that everything goes well for everybody there. Oh no. Yes, Saska, I believe that was 87 YouTubes. Yeah, that's always terrifying to drive by.
87.
The closest I've ever come to a tornado was I was driving my friend. He was moving to Virginia, and so I said, "All right, I am." Because I've gone back and forth to Virginia for like nine times across the country, so I knew the routes. We're in West Virginia, and we hear the music going, and all of a sudden, just things are flying everywhere, and we're thinking, what is happening? And all of the lights on the freeway go out. Just gone. And I heard something behind the car, and I went to slow down, and the next thing I know is we're shaking, and then it stops. And as we're driving, we're seeing in front of us where all these cars were just thrown up against the side of the barriers. Apparently, a tornado hopped.
Mm-hmm. Tornadoes jump
right over us. That was terrifying.
Yeah, jumping tornadoes aren't fun.
Terrifying. But on a lighter note, you're all good right now. Here we go. So now let's talk about, speaking of notes, let's notate the fact that we've got some really cool features on the back of this case. And one of them is the Velcro straps that really help Zach when it comes to organizing the different... Did you just squeak that?
Friction.
For organizing the cable management on the back, which is fantastic. Zach, how useful is that? And what's the best way to utilize those in order to get your sorting taken care of most efficiently?
Yes, they really help to really kind of guide the cables exactly where you need them. So you're not just putting like your 24 pin through a hole, you're actually putting it exactly where it needs to go. That allows you to do a really nice clean tie up on it. And it makes it look real pretty.
Some guy was just singing the blues on Discord because he couldn't find a lucky code. Well, we found one now. That +1 is plus fun. Let's go. So imagine, hi, what's up, Chew? Asked Velcro straps or zip ties, and I responded with both. But yeah, people.
I like both.
Yeah, both for sure.
Yes. Both of them or zip tie.
If I had to pick one,
Okay.
I'd pick zip ties. But if you got the option to do both, do both.
Yep. You hope I win each month? You know, I don't know if we've had a double win. I don't know.
If anyone can, Rick
Never
James
actually
can.
asked that question. Yep. Hope you guys saw the AORUS codes. I didn't because I don't have them.
I'm winning that one. That one's coming
Yep,
home
here we
with
go.
me.
Yep. There's been like 5 of them. I feel so sad when people can't find codes. I also feel sad when I feel the need to sing things at Ivory types. So, as we're moving through this, you can see there's a gap, and this is what we call a 3/4 build because the motherboard does not sit on the back of the case. Paul, explain how this works and why it's important when it comes to the efficiency of the case.
Yeah, so with the design of this case being a 3/4, our motherboard's going to sit on the back right here. So that's about 3/4 of the way in from the other side, which leaves us with all this room for other stuff. So our power supply is going to go up top here. Now we have quite a big bay here, so this can fit anything from a regular power supply to a large 1600 watt. With this being a regular size power supply, it's going to give us some room to tuck some cables if we need to. And then moving on down, we've got this door here that swings open. And this has some kind of unique stuff in it. So we see these got these 2 posts here. So our motherboard 24 pin is going to actually run through here, and our slack we can wrap it around these posts, which is, I think, is kind of cool. And then we also have room for a couple 2.5-inch drives, one on the inside, one on the outside if you want to add those. And then further down there's another door that goes on here that can fit more 3.5-inch drives. So a lot of room for extra storage, and then still a lot of room for good cable management in the middle and up here up top.
And one thing I'd love to point out, as you can see from right here, is something that's unique about this case that other cases don't have, at least none that I've seen that we carry, and that is the fact that you can actually fit 4 fans on the back. This case is that tall. And let's be fair, this case is that tall. It's kind of crazy.
It is, yeah. Four fans in the back. You can kind of see them poking through the mesh there. And then also 2 fans in the rear, which is pretty unique in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, that was the other thing I was waiting for us to flip that around. But yeah, so that's the other thing is the 2 exhaust fans. Now, this thing is going to have some airflow for days. For days. For the boys. Yeah. Now, from this angle, you can really see where the 2 fans go. You can also see there's all these little forks or prongs. So what those are for is those are to help with the cable management on the case. Paul, why don't you point those out and talk about them?
Yeah, so those are the little cable management fingers. And let me grab the door real quick to show you. So you can obviously see our I/O shield back here. Obviously our keyboard, everything you want to plug in is going to be right here. But this case has a door that's going to go on the back like this. It's on hinges. I won't put it on the hinges right now just for time's sake. But this will swing open. And that way you got access to your cables, and this will help you keep them all organized. So you could run, your USB, keyboard, all that stuff down here. And then there's a couple more down here at the bottom for if you, had a power cable coming down, or like an HDMI or DisplayPort cable from your video card.
We got a good question coming in from McGee, by the way. Hello, McGee. What's up, dude? If I look at the case, is it better to have your power on the top or at the bottom, or does it not matter? And that's a good question because mine, I believe, is on the bottom, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. As this one is listed on the top. So, Paul, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah,
How
so
does it affect it differently?
Functionality-wise, it's not going to affect anything really. But from a building perspective, you know, if you want your cables coming out up top, if our power supply is up top, that's where they're going to be at. For moving the case around, that's probably where it has the most effect. If your power supplies are kind of heavy, so if it's up top, it's going to be a little bit more top-heavy than if it was in the bottom. But like I said, functionality-wise, performance-wise, it doesn't matter.
There we go. Now, one thing I really love pointing out here is if we can jump back to that last shot real fast, see how the bottom is angled. So we've got a larger space behind it, so you've got more air that can pop out. But the interesting piece of this is that the fans are also angled. Now, this does two different things. It provides not only fresh air coming up into the graphics card, it also pushes air up against the glass. Now, tempered glass is used a lot because it dissipates heat very quickly. Well, the more air you add, it's going to dissipate heat even faster. And you've got those 4 fans in the back blowing towards it. These 3 that are hitting the glass, and it's going to create a vortex that's going to be pulled out. I don't know why I'm doing that in front of my camera. That's going to be pulled out the 2 back fans. So the ventilation potential for this case is absolutely wild. Now, one thing to mention, I'll ask, hey, Paul, even with that large space in the back and its filtration, where's a good place for you to put this or like just store it?
Yeah, so for using this, I would definitely have it on a hard, flat surface. We typically recommend that with pretty much any PC. And that's because this gap in between the floor and the bottom of our chassis, we want to keep that as clear as possible because our fans are going to be bringing air in. And so as long as that's clear, the more air you're going to get in, the better your system's going to cool.
Coming back over here to the Facebook side. What is the crazy custom? What kind of crazy custom PCs have you done? And do you Darth Vader PC? I know it's a very big. Oh, can you make a Darth Vader PC? I know it's a very big helmet.
Yeah.
Excellent question.
That's definitely something we can do. We've done a lot of really fun custom designs in the past. I mean, the production machine that this show is being run off of right now is a custom desk that we did for Intel Extreme Challenge. So we've got dual systems, all open loop in there, and that's what Jason uses to run the show. So that might be my favorite since it's like 2 PCs all inside of a desk. It's got buttons that can raise and lower, but we have done so many, a lot of cool stuff.
Let's see. Okay, and we just launched apparently what PC? Oh, that's right. We just tipped off the Star Wars PC at DreamHack Dallas. If you weren't there, you definitely want to take a look and find some pictures. Lady Death asks a really good question. By the way, what's up, lady? What are some tips for someone who wants to start streaming? Oh, you want to take that one?
All right, you go ahead, DJ.
All right. So, couple different things, Lady Death, that I'll start off with.
Really
know
good
what
smile.
you...
Really?
Yes.
And proper
Always.
use of your hands. Having a
Smile
good
and
hand
lighting.
model is really good.
I would say if you're going to start streaming, know exactly what you want to do. If you're going to do console, great. Then you want to build a streaming PC. If you're going to PC game, then you need to have something that is robust enough and powerful enough to do both things, streaming and gaming at the same time. You're going to need multiple monitors. You're going to need to consider your capture cards. I personally am an AverMedia guy, and I like internal capture cards, but you can also get USB capture cards. I know, robust. It's my new word. But from a technical standpoint, make sure you've got enough connectivity because you're going to have to connect cameras, lighting, keyboards, mice, your Go XLR, if you're using the Astro Mixamp Pros. I've also got my Stream Deck, and I've used like 4 monitors, but I've been doing this for some time. When it comes to actually streaming, here's what I would suggest when it comes to just doing it. Understand that at the very beginning, you may have just one viewer, and that may just be you. It's not about the numbers. But remember that if you're talking to the one person, then anybody who comes back and watches that stream knows that you at least recognize them. I always state, and I said this because we had to do this in radio, it doesn't matter how many people are listening to the show. It just matters the fact that you're referring to all of them, because you never know who's going to come back and watch your VOD. And somebody may think that you've got more people. So I do that. Authenticity is the other key. Be honest. Be okay with just being you. Don't feel like you have to put on a performance. And these guys have met me. I'm like this, whether there's a camera or not.
True.
But be you. Play what you like. I have a rule about gaming that is imperative, and it's this: if you're doing something and you're not having fun, you're either doing it wrong or you need to pick a different game. Number two, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it in the first place? Okay? If it stops becoming fun, you're going to get frustrated or disappointed or angry, and that comes across. It comes through your voice, it comes through your face, so switch it up. Feel free. Grab another person, play something in duo. It's always more fun to have a conversation that you can have when you've got another person in the chat with you, or you're doing a combo. Heck, there's a lot of little things. I also would recommend, and this is something when I taught streaming for college, when I was teaching broadcasting, that find 10 streams that you like and write down 1 or 2 things that stand out about that stream for those streamers, okay? And if you want to do like 4 or 5 or 3, there you go. But also, you probably already know of some people that you're just not exactly fond of. Go into their streams and write down several things that that either drive you nuts or that you don't want to do, because then you have a list of things of do's and don'ts. You don't want to appear like this, so don't do the don'ts. This is helpful, this is proactive, this is positive, this is what you want to focus on. And then just be there, be present, be consistent. Use your social media.
You can go into their
reliable
streams
mods,
and tell
another
them why
thing.
you don't like them.
No, there's no reason to spread hate. Good Lord. But hopefully that answers some of your questions. And yeah. In the meantime, though, I'll tell you what another question is. What's that giant box that looks like it can take down a zombie? Well, that's a power supply, and that's a 750-watt Game Diaz Kratos M180 Plus bronze. And this is an RGB power supply, which is going to be cool. Paul, tell us about this.
Yeah, so like you said, this is the Game Diaz Kratos 750 watt. It is an 80 plus bronze non-modular power supply. So you can see all the cables are pre-soldered in. So typically when I get a non-modular power supply out of the box, I like to straighten these cables as much as I can. Sometimes they'll be a little bit tangled up. So straightening those out just saves you more time when you're actually got it in the system and you're plugging everything in. But pretty solid power supply here. 750 watts going to be able to power this just fine.
Does it have RGB for a closed spot? No, I mean, you'll be able to see it through the back.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's got RGB in the fan here, and the way this is going to sit, there's a panel so that this can breathe. So that's where you'll be able to see the RGB coming out the back of your case.
Yep. Oh, Hashim also brings up a very good point. Obviously, make sure you research cameras, mics. I know I work just with Logitech on that, but everybody's got your thing. And also know your TOS. Make sure you're not breaking the terms of service. And if there are questions, you can always ask me, ask other content creators. I'm always open for people asking questions. At all times. So, there you go. Alrighty. So now we're getting these put in there. What type of a power supply is that, Paul?
So this is a non-modular power supply. So
what the heck does that mean?
It means all these cables are pre-soldered in. So you have a few different types of power supplies. You've got non-modular like what we have here. Then you have fully modular where none of the cables are pre-soldered in. And then you have semi-modular where some cables are and the rest aren't. So we like building with fully modular power supplies because it just gives us a little bit of a cleaner tie-up and makes our lives a little easier. However, this is another area of the build where you can save some money without sacrificing performance. So typically modular power supplies are going to be more expensive than a non-modular. So this can save you a little bit of room in your budget, and as long as they're the same wattage, you're not losing out on any performance.
Yes. Absolutely. James Alcott says, nice looking case. Love that black. I agree too. Emmanuel Zulu. Hello, DJ watching from Lusaka, Zambia. Lusaka? Or I think it's Lusaka, Zambia. Welcome. Hello. Glad to have you here. I don't think we've ever had somebody from Zambia watch. This is fun. I like it. Alrighty. Now, as we're getting the last of these things put up there, you see that door right there. What does that do, Zach?
This is where we can house hard drives or SSDs, and I use it to hide one of the two fan controllers. I just kind of shove it in to this little tray that holds the SSDs. Just nice to where it's out of the way, but also you can still get into the system to plug stuff up if need be.
Nice. Let's see here. There we go. Now, as we go and slide this in, one thing to take note is there's going to be some cables that are not going to be used that we're just going to basically be tying up. And where will those go?
So those are most likely going to go right in front of the power supply here. We have a nice big area with some extra space. So if you see where this fan controller box is, we've got plenty of room behind it and in front of it for extra cables.
I dig it. Okay. And glad you're getting something to drink there, bud. Glad you're getting something to... That says HCLX and ARS4.
Oh,
you didn't figure
sorry,
that out.
I was real thirsty right there. Had to do a quick Bucky's update.
I looked over there, I thought, what the hell was on the bottom of your can? That was perfect. That was perfect. Oh my gosh.
It's just a solo?
Yep, single 8-pin.
Single 8. Okay, let's get rid.
Alrighty. And, of course, Ivory's dropping another one. It is HCLX PLSA. Please. That is a Papa Lima Sierra Alpha. That is your next code. Coming in from Ivory. So we've got Zach giving codes out. Ivory's got a code. I've got 200 codes to give away today. I'll be doing on my streams. That's 400 entries. Jeez, we've given out a lot of things today. Great stuff.
It's the final.
It's the final
code down. Here's some codes.
Try not to get it.
Codes. Codes.
DMCAs are fun. I don't like the screaming. What? The screaming ears. Oh, yeah.
What?
PLSA, we covered that one. Just making sure I didn't miss any other questions. Oh, yeah. Firecracker brings up a very good point, lady. Yeah, always remember to don't ignore your chat. Sometimes we get locked in, just like rawr, and we're in the game, and there's conversations happening. Remember, you can always go back and play the game seriously and intensely when you're not on stream. But entertainment is what people like, and that's why I got to be entertaining. What about the, well, Mr. Ant, I'm going to assume that you probably have to go and check with AORUS on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Doing that chat slither? Yes, you can. And there's so many different options and ways and stuff that you can do. It's good stuff. I dig it.
Nope, that wasn't the VG. There's the
Okay. Thought you were going to say check with a doctor on that? You're hilarious. Yes, can't wait to see the new build. Me too. I'm going to be excited. This will be great. Now, as we're getting the final, these cables all tied up, Zach, what are some good practices when you're remembering so that you're not going to damage any of the potentially usable cables?
So ideally, we don't want to kink bend cables super hard, preferably with data transfer lines, like SATA lines. That's where We don't really want to bend super hard. These guys with the nice rubber housing are pretty solid cable to where if we have a little bend on it, it's going to be okay. But if we get a little lighter cable that is transferring data, we don't want to put heavy bends on to those cables. That's not a good thing.
True is true.
And there's this. When you open a door and there's an extra SATA.
Alrighty.
So that's 1, 2.
They're announcing on the stream. Yes, so we're going to announce this on, Skits. What's up, Skits? If you don't mind me asking, where did you find these codes? I've checked the Discord, Twitter, hadn't seen them unless I suck at searching. They are on Tuesdays. We give them out on our green side over here on Kick. On Thursdays, we give them out on the purple side. Now, this Thursday, we're actually going to be announcing the winner. The contest actually ends at the end of tomorrow, I believe. But yeah, and then of course the system automatically finds our winner, and then we get to announce it. So definitely tune in Thursday. The show starts as usual at 11 a.m. Pacific. That's 2 Eastern, and we'll take you through yet another amazing build, and we'll tell you who's going to win that fantastic AORUS PC from our, along with that Beacon package for the streamer package. It is a Beacon mic and a Beacon mix crate, which I think is Beacon awesome. See what I did there? AORUS, yes, sorry, sponsors. There we go. What's in the cup? Oh, James Holcott.
Water.
Just the water. Just the water.
Diluted water.
Skits asks, does the person with the most points win, or does it just give you a larger chance? It's honestly, it's just gives you more of a chance. All it takes is one entry to win, but the more entries you have, the better statistically, the better your chances are. When you pick a winner, do they know what the code? No, Lady Death, I do not believe they do. But of course, you will be getting an email. Whoever wins is going to get an email. You'll just want to respond to that within 24 hours. If you're in chat, then you'll already know. We've had that a couple times, which I love it. Yeah, and Gleam will show the admins with what entries, what entry wins. Yeah, absolutely. And welcome in, Skits. Welcome in. Glad to have you here. Deborah Schultz, back over on the Facebook side. I wish everyone good luck in the contest. If I win, just know I will learn to stream and make a channel to help others. Got it. Well, thank you so much for that. And that is definitely something to look forward to. That kind of caring. I appreciate it. All righty. Still nobody's saying anything on the Twitters. If you got any questions over here on Twitter, please feel free. Here you go. The last 2 winners were also DJ's followers, so drop them. Oh, yeah. Well, actually, you're right. So, yeah. Let's see. Jump back up to Hashim. Wait, you just won a PC on Robitex 30 minutes ago? Hell yeah. Congratulations, my dude. That is awesome. We love us some Roby. Roby actually is who built my streaming PC. That back in 2019-ish.
Let's leave that one.
Right about there? Yeah. Oh, thanks, Damon. That makes it feel less special. What happens if you plug the cords into the wrong input, says Violent Echo? That is an excellent question that I am constantly terrified of.
Yeah, so that is a good question. So a lot of the ports off the power supply on the cables can look very similar, but they are keyed a little bit differently. So there's little squares and little pentagon type shapes that look like squares unless you've got it up close. So it's not going to let you put a CPU cable into a video card or vice versa. I'm sure if you were strong enough and you really forced it in, you could. So, you know, if it's not going in, there's a reason. Because if you did do that, yeah, that's going to cause a lot of issues. But they're all keyed differently, so it should go in pretty smooth. That way you don't start a fire.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3.
I unfollow him after every giveaway winner just so he knows I'm not attached. Tom, you're hilarious. John Qualls over the Facebook side. Howdy, I don't know what's going on, but I like it. We do PC builds twice a week, and these are usually customer builds. Sometimes they're giveaway builds. Sometimes they're just in-house builds. But we teach people how to actually build a computer and help educate you on what the parts are, best practices for handling them, etc. One other thing is Beeps. Oh, Beeps won it. Sorry. Hashim was mentioning it was Beeps. Actually won a Beeps. Congratulations. That's awesome. Love it. Another question from Violet Echo. Why don't the RGB match sometimes between the cooler, the RAM, and the case fans?
That's very good.
Yeah, it's a good question. So depending if you've got different brands across that, right when you turn the PC on, those won't necessarily sync up unless you've got them all plugged into your case and your case allows for it. However, you can use an RGB software after you've got the system loaded to get everything synced up. But that's why sometimes when you see a machine turn on, maybe all the fans are in like a pink and purple and the RAM's still just going through the whole rainbow of colors. That's because that software hasn't been installed yet and everything's been synced up.
Real fast. Elron Sand, give me just a second, and then I will get that question answered real fast because I know it's sitting here. We're going to talk about it real quick. We're going to talk about our graphics card. So the graphics card we've got for this is an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070, and this is 12 gigs of GDDR6X RAM, video RAM. Paul, walk us through this graphics card.
Yeah, so like I said, this is a Gigabyte RTX 4070. So we've got a nice backplate on here. Pretty clean looking card, honestly. A single 8-pin power connector on this side. And then for our video outputs, we've got 3 DisplayPort and 1 HDMI, which is pretty much the standard now. This is a relatively light card. It's still a triple fan model, so it is a little bit longer, but we won't need an anti-sag bracket for this because it's so light and it's all honestly so short. But I really like the backplate on this. Always looks good. A lot of cards having a backplate now, which I think just is a really nice aesthetic. And then through these fins here, you can see the copper heat pipes running through, and then this fan will blow air through those fins and cool everything. So really solid card.
Okay, so we had a question from Elron. Elron Sands, yes. Let's see here. It says, I need tips for cable management. That is exactly why we do this show. Gentlemen, welcome to the process.
Yeah, so typically with cable management, we like to break it into 3 different parts. So we'll get our fans put in the case. Typically we'll get our case cables plugged in, so that's our USBs off our front point, audio ports, anything like that plugged in and managed, and then we'll move to our case fans, manage those, and then we'll install the power supply and do those. So breaking it down into a few different parts is really the way to do it. Zach is a lot better at cable management than I am, so if you want to add anything else, go ahead. He's getting that reflection on. If Zach's built your PC and you have a reflective AIO cap, most likely you get an Easter egg picture of him.
Yeah, right.
I do what I can.
I keep getting he keeps crossing over it. And I'm like, let's see here. Greetings from Cuba. Yes, you need one of those screwdrivers. Absolutely. What kind of screwdriver is that, bud?
This is the LTD ratchet screwdriver. Wave 1 edition.
Nice. Pills Mayhem, I just need one of these. Yes. Hey, Josie in. I think he mispronounced my name. Oh, I don't think I said it yet, but is it Aosi? I'm going to be honest. I probably did just butcher your name, and for that, I truly apologize. To get into the giveaway, all you've got to do is click on that, type exclamation giveaway, and click on the link that shows up. Uh-oh.
So, Violent Echo, there's a company out there, I believe it's called Signal RGB. From what I know, it's like a subscription service, but they have something to where it can get all of your RGB to sync together or be all the same. But I haven't looked into that exactly. Once I saw that it was subscription based, I was like, that's
Subscription based for your RGB.
yeah, it's a little excessive.
What are we doing?
Let's see here. So, a good question coming in about the fans, and that is, what is the difference between the two versus 3 fan GPUs? Is there a difference in performance?
So there can be a little bit of a performance difference. That being said, if they're both, let's say they're both 4070s, one just has 3 fans and one have 2 fans, frame rate in a game, you're probably not going to notice any difference. Now that being said, that triple fan model is going to stay cooler a little bit better than that 2 fan model, so it probably has a little bit more longevity in the card. But as far as like frame rates in games, you're not going to notice that big of a difference.
Back over to the Facebook side, Deborah Schultz, thank you. You're very welcome, and thank you so much for the compliment. We love what we do. We're enthusiastic about it just because we love what we do. It's a thing. John asks, so is this a giveaway or for a customer? This is for a customer. This is for Tim in Boulder, Colorado. It's a very beautiful PC. Yeah, I can't wait to see it turned on. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, and Tom Udall, I agree, man. Subscription models are the bane of software. I used to work for Adobe Software Systems back when you just purchased the software. Before they were like, oh, you've got your Creative Cloud account, and I have to subscribe every month. Or I can just buy the software and not subscribe. That also works.
Put your pirate hat
Good
on.
Lord. 4070 Ti Super 2X and 3X was looking at them and was wondering that. Thanks for the info. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely would be cool.
Sure.
Yeah, and this PC is gorgeous. We don't often get to use the Galahads a whole lot on the show that we've noticed, but it's definitely it's pretty. All right, now we're getting the final elements of those cables all over to get plugged in. Now, as far as power for this graphics card, what is it we're to need for this?
So we've got a single 8-pin power connector that Zach's plugging in right now.
That is nice.
It is, yeah. A single 8-pin is great.
That is wonderful. You know what else is truly wonderful? Well, let him get that finished because I think we're getting to that close moment.
Yeah, we are.
So the other thing that is truly wonderful, aside from just having a single 8-pin, is having a website that you can go to functionally get your hands on one of these PCs. Let's take a look. At clxgaming.com, we do our best to make it as easy as possible for you to get the PC of your dreams and make sure that it's going to function the way that you need it. Whether you're looking for a large case or a small case, we have everything from ROS down to little ITX cases that are really cool to play with. And you don't have to be a pro to do this. We have AMD, we have Intel, we have Radeon, we have NVIDIA. You choose, we got AIO, we've got like the AIO coolers. You could do a custom loop cooler, that also works. And you don't have to worry about the compatibility issue because it's built into our system. So, for example, if you're to use and select, say, a DDR5 motherboard, okay, but you chose DDR4 RAM, the system's going to say, all right, if you want to use this DDR4 RAM, you have to choose one of these available DDR4 motherboards, not birds. If you want to use the motherboard, then you have to use one of these following DDR5 RAMs. Once you've solved the problem, that little button goes back to green, and there you have it. It is ready to go and continue. We can help you with your PC design as well as speeding it up. If you want to go and get it overclocked, we can overclock your GPU, we can overclock your CPU, we can overclock both of them. Choose to upgrade your thermal paste. You can even grab some various different alignment of internal components, like choosing whether or not you want oh my lord, modular or non-modular power supply. Jumping over to our accessories is where all the real fun happens, and this is where you can pick up t-shirts like this or our windbreakers, which are great, hats, and more. Plus, you got every possible accessory known to mankind. And this is where I love it, because if you want to grab keyboards, mouse, cameras, we've got Beacon mix crates and Beacon mics for our content creators. We've got capture cards. We've got headphones. You want a monitor? We got monitors. We got speakers. We got routers. We got chairs. It is all there. It's a one-stop shopping center, essentially. Now, as much as that sounds awesome, Some people that's not exactly their cup of tea. They want something that's already been done and taken care of. Well, that's fine because we have an RTS section, and that stands for ready to ship. Our ready to ship models have been assembled by our experts, and they come in 4 different ranges from your baseline, your entry level, mid range, ultra, and then super or high performance, and then ultra performance. So you can take a look and see, all right, this is what's in here. This is what's cool. This is what I'm getting. And we even do payment plans. Mark it in. They're already tested in a box, waiting to find a new home. And who knows, that home might just be yours. So for all of your future PC needs, head on over to clxgaming.com and see how we can prepare you for the future. There we go. The PC is beautiful. Yeah, it is. To be very honest, I totally agree. Lilac jackets are available. Yes, Tom, they are. Mine is somewhere in my office. DG, are you having brain farts? Yes. Well, it is raining, so. See, I don't have anything to protect me from the rain.
That scared me.
That scared me too a little
Oh my
bit.
gosh.
I had a hand
That was
on
a
it.
heart attack.
Ooh. Deborah brings up a very good question. Oh. So, real quick, Deborah asked, just recently got a lower-end computer from CLX. I was just curious about the RGB and the fans. Do each one have their own program to change the RGB? Or can you use, per se, that subscription that's not proprietary? I didn't want to call tech support about a minor confusing... Listen, our tech support, that's what they're there for. Call us.
We don't mind.
Please call us.
We bought one of our PCs.
It costs you nothing. Yep. You have free tech support for life. So, John asks, is RTS typically cheaper than building? You're on the site. I don't know.
Yeah,
it depends. I think the key is it depends on whether or not you control yourself from putting the most ridiculously awesome and insane things into your build. I've just goofed off a bunch when it comes to just adding things in there and seeing what I can do. And there's like, the most I've ever had is like a $12,000 build, which is hilarious. But yeah, those glass plates shatter in very small bits, or will it stay together and just crack? Ooh, good question. Well,
depends on how far it falls. So we've seen them where they just spider glass out, and then we've also seen them just poof into dust.
And you've also seen them where nothing happened.
Yeah, you drop them from this height, and you're like, what?
It didn't?
Like sometimes, well, I don't know. Well, sometimes you get an old case and you got an extra panel around, you want to go smash it outside in the compactor. Sometimes it takes a lot more force than what you would think.
Yes.
Hypothetically speaking.
Sometimes those baseball bats are...
John mentioned you don't get to use shadow what? What's that? Oh.
I swear this is out. I'm trying to speak nuts.
What have you done? I'm not sure, John. Usually things just come out on my mouth at random times and points. All right, so we're ready to test this baby and see it turn on?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Let's check it out.
Power supply.
You got to plug it back in. There you go. Oh, nice.
Ooh.
God, it's so subtle, but it's so cool looking. I love it. The other really cool thing about this build is that if you go back to that last shot, it's got that line, that LED line that is built into the case itself. It's incredible. And it's got that very Tony Stark look with the Galahad in the middle, which is that bright circle. That's actually cool. Let's go over once more what's inside this incredible build for our friend Tim in Boulder, Colorado. This, of course, is a CLX Raw NV7 full tower in black with an Intel Core i7-14700KF processor. It's mounted on an ASRock Z690 Phantom Gaming 4 motherboard with 32 gigs of DDR4 3600, and its graphics are powered by that RTX 4070, along with a 1 terabyte MSI Spatium M450 M.2. Our processor is going to be cooled in a Leon Lee Galahad AIO 360 closed loop liquid cooler, and it's going to have 12 different GameDS AORUS M3 fans, trying to keep that as cool as possible, with a 750 watt GameDS Kratos M1 80 plus bronze power supply in it. Well done, guys. Well done. That is awesome. I dig it. I dig it. All right, so with that being said, normally we have a two-part show, but not today. Instead, we're going to be jumping right over to my channel, where I'm going to be doing some Outlast trials and dropping some codes. But first, don't miss our shows. They are Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific. That is 2 Eastern. And you can find us on all of our platforms. That is Kick, Twitch, YouTube, all of them at CLX Gaming. Well, Twitch is CLX Gaming TV. You can find out the latest and greatest of what's going on with everybody at CLX Gaming, as well as possibly find yourself some codes at our socials, and that's CLX Gaming at YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, and Facebook, actually. You can also check out our Discord and find yourself amidst a whole myriad of wild characters who are also PC enthusiasts and gamers. And that is, of course, discord.gg/CLXgaming. The other place you can find codes like today is at my channel, and that's just DJ Blue PDX. So, with that being said, we are going to, we're going to jump over to my channel. We're going to have some fun. So, on behalf of Kyle and Jason, Paul and Zach, don't forget, we got the winner being announced Thursday. I'm DJ Blue PDX. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.